are with the Omega level nerds. D Square. I don't know if he ever tells you to get in the chopper. Get in it now. Come kill me. I'm here. J100.
Her.
Yeah, she was.
I can holler at her. I gotta fight Cyclops and Wolverine to get that Jean Grey. Never mind, forget all that. I'm gonna hit up.
Right, exactly.
Jelly Rose.
But I'm very, very looking forward to a Doctor Doom that does not suck. I'm actually looking forward to more figures since I do collect them.
And Volsker. Naked.
You know what's funny is I was about to say, could it be that Marvel Girl looks like she's trying to get Twitch viewers?
Yeah, exactly. Are gonna get real nerdy for you real nerds. Yes, indeed, it is Nerd 30. Boy, does it feel good to be a podcaster. I am your host, of course, Slightly Burnt D Square, along with the other Omega level nerds. We got Jelly Rose, J100, and Volsker. So let's get right into it. We took a week off there for the holiday, so we've got 2 Loki episodes to talk about. Before we do that, though, before we get into the spoilers and whatnot, just want to go around the horn here and get just a quick spoiler-free thought and 1 to 5 rating. So, Volsker, let me start with you. What did you think of the episode, and what's your rating 1 to 5?
Talking about both 2 and 3?
Yep.
2, I'd say 2, I'd give 4.5. I really enjoyed. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna give 2 a 5. And that is because I fucking called it when it came down to who the villain was.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get into that when we get a little spoiler. And then 4, I say 4 was a solid full, or episode 3 was a good solid 4.5. I really am liking the dynamic, and I like what they're doing with Loki's character.
Okay. Yeah, some big character development that we'll talk about when we get into spoilers. J100, what about you? What's your scoring on 2 and 3 there?
I'm going to kind of the same way Volsker did, but doing it backward.
Okay.
So episode 2, I give like a 4.5. I mean, it was a good episode. Again, more story building, everything. But episode 3, well, one, I had to watch episode 3 twice, so there's that. So I got a little bit more like insight on that. Episode 3 was really good. It was really good as far as like character design goes, because or character development goes. Give you a little bit of insight. Girl Loki. It makes me want to ask more, especially considering what happened in the end. I give episode 3 a 5.
Okay. And Jelly Rose, what say you? What's your 1 to 5 on the episode 2 and 3 there?
I give them both kind of like a 4.5 around there.
Okay.
I enjoy the show very much so.
Yeah.
I can't describe it without giving spoilers. I'm not good at that.
Okay. Well, let's rip that Band-Aid off then. So I'm going to put up the spoiler alert here, just so everyone's aware they're watching on stream and, of course, in the video, whatnot. Spoiler alerts ahead here. So, yeah, let's, definitely get into it. So episode 3 was very interesting indeed. I like the loophole that Loki found. That was actually pretty swift. But you talk about Volsker calling it, as far as it being a female Loki. So that we do learn that it is a female. Now, I will add that she has not really to me at least, maybe I missed something. And I do watch the episodes twice because I watch them on Wednesday. The wife's not normally ready to watch them yet till about Friday, so I do get that as well. But she's always skated around calling herself, Loki. So
A
I've
Loki.
I've heard she could potentially actually not be a Lady Loki, but
I did kind of read into it myself. There's a couple theories on it for sure.
I'm curious because she mentions like I think it's 3 where he does it and she goes, "I don't like that name anymore. Don't call me that." So it's kind of like maybe something went wrong with her being a Loki.
yeah,
So she's trying to distance herself. Like maybe she, compared to our Loki, does not like Asgard anymore. Maybe something happened there, so she's anti. So I'm curious. It can go so many different ways.
yeah.
I mean, her parents could have been abusive. I mean, they're picked up as a frost giant child and adopted. What if starts with an F? Frey, the mama. I am terrible at names.
Oh, Frigga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Frigga, yeah.
What if she doesn't accept her as, a child? What if, they're abusive parents in Asgard and kind of, make her a slave or etc. Like, we don't really know her background because it seems like, she's looking at, our Loki as, this arrogant, spoiled brat. And, she's had some sort of hard life.
Yeah, it's almost like the Robin Hood and what was his little stepbrother in that story. But it's kind of that, And she also makes mention about the magic that his mother taught him, because her magic, her knowledge seems to kind of supersede Loki's a little bit as far as what the fuck's going on.
Her ability is different.
Yeah, her abilities are way different, and his magic seems to be more potent. And she mentioned, oh well, your mother taught you this, powerful magic. So, yeah, I do. That's an interesting dynamic that I think they have there.
She's mentioned that she was self-taught while he, was taught by somebody. So it's like, how did you teach yourself kind of that magic too, though?
I like her ability too. Like, remember Loki did that? He had to have the Tesseract staff. She's just like taking control whenever she wants. She mentioned that it's a battle depending on their will, but she could just do it. So that was pretty cool.
And another scene I loved because it actually kind of shows you a chink in the armor of the TVA, because Loki had to explain to him the two different powers, right? There's the power where you just bring something other than yourself to life and project that versus, projecting himself, and he had to explain that to Mobius. And I was like, oh, okay, I thought these guys were supposed to be all knowing, and yet Loki actually knows a little bit more. So
I think also, showing about the weakness or the kinks in the armor for TVA is fact that, like, they really don't even, I don't really think they even have the ability or even know the timekeeper. That they're just following orders, but they don't really know what they're following. And when we start talking about episode 3, that makes it a little bit more apparent.
You know what that kind of makes me think of? The Wizard of Oz. How they're in the Emerald City and they all, follow whatever the big knowing guy is, but it's just a guy behind a curtain, messing with some machines.
Right. With some gunpowder and smoke, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I don't think it's gonna be like that lowly of a reveal, but I still think that like them not knowing what's going on really behind the scenes, what they're actually doing, and I want to know what what's her name, Sylvie's
Sylvie
real gripe with the TVA is, because he makes mention, I believe it's in episode whatever, we'll get there, but she makes mention of the time fascist.
Right.
How's that? So, all right. So we thought maybe they were just trying to make sure that the sacred timeline is intact, but maybe there's some other thing. Well, I mean, we know that there's going to be other things going on behind the scenes, and Loki going with uh, uh Sophie at the end of the episode is a smart decision. And so, I mean, we haven't got to that part yet, but you want to take the lead there, talk about that part of the episode.
Yeah. Well, so basically it turns out that the Sylvie has been capturing all of those time reset devices. And by the end of episode 2, she enacts her plan because she's got the special device basically that the TVA had, the temp pad. So she's able to use that combined with all these like time reset grenades that she's gathered to then send those to wherever she sends them. But nonetheless, she sends them, they go off, and all of these timelines start going toward the red line. And it's just, they can't do, they're trying to, but they just, everything's in a panic. And so she goes through a portal and she leaves it open. And until, of course, Loki, the one we know, steps in. And then that's where basically episode 3 kind of starts us. So, he made that decision to go with her, leaving Mobius and the TVA people behind. Who, it's really overt. The TVA is sus. Like, they look like stormtrooper, like, and when I mean stormtrooper, like actual Nazi stormtroopers. They look like that. The sacred timeline, they talked about how it really could just be the timekeepers making sure the timeline that ends up in their creation happens. So is it so sacred?
Oh, that's something that I had a question about. So, okay, we have the sacred timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything follows that timeline. But when they were talking earlier, Mobius was talking about different variants. He's like, they look different. We got, we've seen like a little demon looking guy. We've seen this little, some are big, some are small. So is every multiverse following this sacred timeline? And that's why we have different multitudes of variants, but there's also still a multiverse. They're just all doing the same freaking timeline instead of multiple timelines. Is that what's going on? Because that's what I'm kind of getting from it.
Well,
because I'm like, so there's still multiverse. They're just all following the same fucking track.
They can't have their own. They're not entitled to their own progress, basically.
Well, and all the people working for the TVA are variants. They just don't know it, and that's of course
right.
how
And that
Sylvie...
wasn't mentioned till later.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember they didn't even think they were human. They thought they were created by the timekeepers, and then that's when
that's what the little clock lady
Sylvie,
says.
Was like, no, they're human. They've had past. They're just like almost reprogrammed to
like
work
she
for
loved
them.
margaritas.
Yeah.
So passing out with the girlfriends. Yes. Girl, tell me what's up, girl. Tell me, how do you get...
Right. Yeah. How do you get the timekeepers?
And that's like another thing is, there's speculation that she was a variant that was grabbed by the TVA, that then she regained her memories, and that's why she's going rogue.
Yeah. But she mentions like fighting the TVA her whole life though, so that's interesting.
Oh, okay, never mind. I lost what you said for a second. I thought you were talking about the agent. You were talking about Sylvie.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that what happened is whatever timeline or I'm not, whatever major thing that happened in Sylvie's life that took her off the Asgard core to do with the figured out what was down. Had to blow shit up.
And so the other thing, so in the third episode, like I said, starts off they're together. They kind of have a tussle. Loki gets a hold of the device and sends them to one of the pre-programmed apocalypses. So And we kind of glossed over this. So of course, in the second episode, Loki, like I said, is almost explaining things to the TVA now because he's like, by the way, she's hiding in apocalypses because if an apocalypse happens, then if something different happens, but it all blows the fuck up, there's no time variance there. There's no nexus. Yeah. And so that's how he found her in the first place. So she has these pre-programmed apocalypses in the time device, and he hits one real quick. And so Loki, Sylvie, they're now in a doomed timeline, or at least a doomed area of a certain timeline. And they fight for the device. It was kind of a cool fight, but now it's out of power. And they're stuck on this planet that has a moon that's about to slam into it. And kind of a Transformer reference. We'll talk about Transformers a little bit later, but of course, so in this planet, they've got this big spaceship called the Ark not everybody's going to get on. The rich people are going to get on, right? That was kind of spooky to me, how the people are fucking lines. This planet is clearly going to fucking hit your planet, and they're like announcing 5 minutes till last boarding, and it's like, they're shutting the gates on people, and, Loki's like, yeah, they're just going to let them fucking die. Like, yeah, they're just going to let all these people die.
On a real note, let's be 1,000%. If the moon all of a sudden was just like, oh, fuck y'all, I'll have to beat your ass real quick. They ain't gonna fit 7.6 billion people on no spaceship that you done made. Okay? So, I don't necessarily feel that it has to be rich people, but
connected people.
I'll put it to you like this.
Who you know and who you blow.
This is sure, but like this is something I've been thinking about, especially considering my own audience. A lot different though. So in a situation where shit goes down, who's who, right? And there's this one show, and I think I talked to you guys about this. One show called can't remember what it's called. Damn it, that pissed me off. But it's about Earth going through some like climate situation or whatever. And they need to have young people, but certain young people get on this ship, and I wouldn't say that their like lives are pre-planned, but like they have certain roles. Mm-hmm. They're going to meet with certain people to create certain genetic, blah 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 blah. Like overall, at the end of the day, the part about the show that kind of they kind of like fall into, because they did a good job of keeping that context in mind. Beginning. Then after a while, it starts turning into the drama, whatever. Listen, if you're not understanding an intergenerational spaceship travel, right, to another galaxy or another star system in the galaxy, something like that, your life is gonna have to be regimented. It has to be. You can't go outside of that order, or you're gonna lose your resources. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna die before you get there. Yeah. So in a situation where you got a planet coming to another planet, I wouldn't say the best of the best. That's a very terrible way of looking at it. But like certain people have certain skills that are going to be necessary for some situation like so. Or let's play on on our emotions as a piece of cinematography, if you will, but. Let's also and this is the reasoning for the ticket. The reason why the ticket was so important, and the reason why it was so easy for Loki and Selfie to get caught, especially considering that Loki kind of wiles out a little bit.
Right, he sure does.
You ain't about to waste our resources, motherfucker. I don't care who you is. Who's you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is regimented. So I want to keep that part in mind because it's so easy, like that play on the emotions. At the same time, you got to think about like what that is, and then near the end of the episode, and you can go back and fill in my gaps, but it makes my point though. When the planet split half and it really started going down, and one of the pieces hit the spaceship, and then everybody died.
Yeah.
The disappointment on the people's faces wasn't so much like, oh damn, I could have been on the ship. It was our civilization is now literally just. That's the way I.
Yeah.
But you can fill in my gaps. My bad. I didn't mean to go that ahead.
No, that's how it ends there, though. You know, that whole arc. So all that trouble they go through. But you did mention him wiling out. So yeah, let's talk about that, because this episode made, at least on Twitter, at least on my Twitter, made some pretty major news, which was making the Loki that's in the show canonically bisexual. And so that was made kind of a big to-do.
So, from my understanding, I seen a meme earlier, and it was like, Twitter freaking out that Loki's bisexual, and then there's this dude in the corner. He's like, me knowing that Loki fucked a horse.
Right, exactly. The god of mischief, Loki of Asgard. Like, yeah, it's like, duh. He's probably more than bisexual. So, you know.
Right. He's probably like, I got anything's back. Like, I like you, and I like you, and I like
he can
you.
even turn himself into what they want.
Right. I can shapeshift me. I can shapeshift you. And we can shapeshift portions of each other. You know.
I personally have not seen a peep. I have not seen a tweet. I have not seen a Facebook post. I think I've seen one meme, and I think it was the one that Jelly was talking about. But
that was the only one I seen.
So my thing about this is like, again, what everybody is using their American, for the most part. I mean, it's an international show, so let me put it like this: everybody's using their localized, anthropomorphized view of this universe, and Loki is an Asgardian. I don't know if y'all don't know, but that place don't really exist in the world. You know what I'm saying? So like the thing, the what they would fuck would be another thing on the list if we were to humanize it, right? So I'm sure all the things that Loki has either put his genitals on or the genitals have been put on to him. This dude is like a trillion sexual. Like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
Like what? like what are we talking about? So
Yeah.
I mean,
he is the god of mischief, so like he's gonna be putting his junk on some stuff.
Everything. You put in
Put my
everything.
nuts on your drum set.
Dogs, cats, aliens, organs, rolls. Okay. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Shield,
I would say Thor. He like Roman helmet Thor at some point. I mean, just it just came out of nowhere.
Ain't not really brothers. Okay.
Right.
Pretty sure one of them timelines got a little crazy.
Yeah. So that it made a little news for
He
that.
said, "Hello, stepbrother."
Loki.
Oh my goodness!
And you've been filling out your costume a little more than I've seen lately.
So,
Like to shower.
So I have another little tidbit of information for you. So the song that Loki sings, when we all are going, oh, this is Asgardian as we're thinking, and he goes, when she sings "Come Home," and he's singing it. So the actual lyrics to this in English is, "In storm blackened mountains I wander alone, across glaciers I travel forth. In the apple orchard the fair maiden stands, and she sings, 'When will you come home?'" And it's actually Norwegian. They had somebody come up with this, and like they do with some of their languages, they go find something similar and have, things made for them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. Because
That
of
is
course I'm
cool.
getting into it, watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool that you mentioned that because I was thinking like that does sound Norse because they are, Loki is a Norse god. So that's cool that they did that.
Oh
It was
yeah.
an interesting scene all around. But then, yeah,
And
they,
he throws the glass on on the
yes,
ground and asks for more.
yes, just like his brother Thor, stepbrother Thor. Um,
Nada.
but yeah, they get kicked out of the train and in time enough just to see, the Ark get destroyed. So there's our Lokis stranded in a doomed timeline, and that's where the show is at now.
It was totally
Wow.
There is another theory, and I guess this came from the comic books. I was reading a bunch of stuff today that Sylvie, who is known as Lady Loki, is actually created by another Loki. And that's why she shouldn't exist, and why the TVA hunts her is because she technically shouldn't exist because she was created
Right.
by a Loki.
Right, right. Yeah, because because even Loki mentioned when they're talking about the time grenades or whatever, he's like, oh, so you mean you're just going to disintegrate them? Yeah, because that's what you're doing. You just you say you're correcting time, but you're just disintegrating them, So yeah, he's like, hey, it's not
burning
my
up
fucking
everybody.
fault.
Wait a minute. I don't think this is in the sacred timeline.
Right. What's so sacred about this?
Where'd he go?
Imagine if
seem
you're
right at
actually
all.
supposed to be in that timeline and you're freaking out, but then
Yeah.
everything around you disappears and you're like, oh, I'm good, but you're in a fucking disaster and you die anyways, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that would suck. That was just
This
like
is
in
not
my
where I
head.
parked my car.
All right, we'll move out of
Sure.
the spoiler alert territory here.
Oh, you're done talking about Unicron and the Ark?
Not quite yet. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean that's a common trope, but yeah, it always means Transformers to me. Anytime I see it,
Unicron's coming!
yeah, you'll need a bunch of arcs then. So Jay, let's talk about our show buddy, The Bad Batch. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts there?
Well, this one got a little more real. Omega kind of got separated from the crew because Cad Bane, excuse me,
Yep.
and I fucking got Bane of my existence. Anyway, so
He's always in the mix.
uh, he takes her to Camino. That's who hired him, get her, because they need her DNA, which to me made me think about, if all of this hadn't happened, what would they really have done with?
Yeah, I mean, there's that
So-
part of the episode as far as what they would do with Omega, like, because it's obviously not good. They allude to it. There seems to be two factions of the Kaminoans, though. Like, that lady, I can't remember her name, there's a female one. She kind of seems to want to save Omega. The other one just kind of seems to harvest Omega. And I'm getting that from the fact that, remember those canisters like Omega came across? They had this, and it was a green murky liquid, and there was some sort of alien, like kind of alluded that she'd basically be in like a test tube or something. So
Yeah, no, she dropped one of them on Finnick.
yeah. So definitely seeing, they consider her an asset, but I don't think every Kamoan or Kamino, whatever you want to call them, I can't think right now, but definitely it seems to be almost a Baby Yoda-ish, type going on here, where that DNA.
But yeah, so I mean, the episode really was Mega trying to get a hold of the crew, being on Camino, Cad Bane fighting Finnick.
Yeah, that's really
Like,
about
Omega kind of learning. Okay, Omega kind of learning about what's going on. But for me, I think that the implications of it are So when you think about it, when they were explaining why they were kind of hard, the first off, before the war, she was just there. The only reason why she's with the Bad Batch is because the war was over, Order 66, all that crazy stuff happened.
Right.
Chaos ensues. He, ends up with the Bad Batch. So, for all intents and purposes, if the war hadn't have ended, what would they be using Omega for? So I'm guessing that she would have grown up. They would have got Cad Bane to go get Boba. They're gonna have some clone babies. They're gonna use that genetic imprint because that's literally like baby pure reproduced. Make sure that like works right. Maybe that they could create more clones and maintain the clone army, because the reason why the clone army was something that was being talked about in the first place is because Jango died and they were running out of the genetic materials in the first place. So that part is really deep and really interesting. But overall, at the end of the day, because we're seasoned Star Wars nerds, and thinking way too deep into it, the pure, like, the basic gist of the episode, or I feel the theme of the episode was Mega really having this family that's gonna do anything that is going to protect them, and her having Guardian Angel, which that whatever I can't remember what that Kaminoan is called, the female one, but
yeah,
she like raised her.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she cares so much, I think.
Right.
Prime Minister was using her, but yeah. So she's got a Guardian Angel, showing a softer side to Finnick, even though Finnick is a bounty hunter, because Finnick is going to play an important part very soon in season 2 of or 3 of Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even, no. Sorry, might be in season 3 of Mandalorian. It's Mandalorian going to be the Boba show. She's going to be, and that's going to come out soon as well, right?
Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, is that the end of this year?
End of this year. So, her having a continued role, I think, is leading up to that. Seeing her where her side of the story comes into play, so they don't have the character build like that.
Right.
They can just focus on Boba.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a basic episode leading to what they got, 1 or 2 more episodes before the season's over. This is the season finale coming up next week.
No, I think I got 2 more.
Series finale, isn't it? Because it's short. I don't think there's more.
This was episode 8. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is 9.
I thought maybe they were gonna do 1 more, because this is only like 3 months into the war, like 3 to 6 months into the war being. There's a lot of space that I figured the Bad Batch were part of, whether they're not around anymore. Guys running around getting into just the Omega. But I could be wrong, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So far, it's everywhere still saying that it was presented as a limited series. No season 2 has been confirmed and is not necessarily on the table at this time.
So then that would mean that basically they're going to have some sort of conflict with the what's the Bad Batcher that defected? Crosshairs. He's still alive. He's still trying to hunt them. So yeah, if they've only got 1 more episode left, then that's probably what's
just all
gonna
die.
happen.
That's the wrap up there. That's
They
another
could.
side.
They could.
Star
They
Wars
could.
side story.
They could
You
Rogue
love
One
them,
that bitch.
now they're gone.
Yeah, they could Rogue One that bitch. Just boop. Oh no, they're gone. They're dead. Omega gets captured, and he's Palpatine's clone or something. But yeah, it's interesting. It is going to have that tie into the Book of Boba Fett, because yeah, that character we get to see here. So,
and that's how they may do it too. Is they may just have it lead into different shows.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to watch all of this stuff if you truly, because yeah, there's going to be people that pop into the movies, into the shows, you're not gonna know, unless you're watching even the animated stuff. I mean, everyone's on the Mandalorian, like, no doubt. But even this shit, Bad Batch, Clone Wars, they just got a lot of characters they've introduced, flushed out, that we're gonna cross over to other mediums, and some people may miss out. So Bad Batch is good. Bad Batch is really good. So you should definitely watch it.
I mean, I like anything that adds to and ties together what we know of the Star Wars universe, especially so you can have something canonized and a fluid story, so there's no guessing. I really enjoy this, and I want to see what Omega really is, because if she's that important, like, what is she?
Right.
To the Star Wars universe at that, especially considering this is right before, or this is in between episode 3 and 4. You know what I mean? Like, what were we really getting into when we saw A New Hope? And
my vote's on Palpatine clone, so we'll see. All right, well, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, is that Rey's mom? Is this somehow Rey a derivative of Omega? But they have that Carillion accent, so kind of the space old English.
Let me go.
Let me get. Yeah, exactly. Let me go.
Oh man,
my name's Omega. But yeah. But hey, we've got some exciting Omega level news for you. So let's take a break, 30 to 60 seconds ish, and then we're going to get right into that. So we will see you on the other side of our break.
Final Fantasy II for Wanda Swan Collar.
Wanda Swan!
My name is Marche. I am a warrior in a land called Ivalice. Can you please help me destroy the crystals so I can leave?
You may call me Ritz, but you may not use my sword, spells, or magic without asking. They are dangerous. If you call, I'll explain.
Mute is my name. Feel free to call. Otherwise, I may become irritable.
The people of Ivalice are standing by to talk about Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, only on Game Boy Advance. Rated E for everyone.
Game Boy.
To inscribe into history. To inscribe into the soul. Final Fantasy Tactics.
50年戦争の後、大国エボリースにおいて獅子戦争、フザーリア、ザルテーニア、400種類に及ぶアビリティがゲームに出るぞ。
ファイナルファンタジータクティクス、コンビニでこの辺も押さえとけ。
デジキューブ。
夢じゃない。ファイナルファンタジー6、4月2日スーパーファミコンで発売。スクエア。夢じゃない。スーパーファミコンソフト、ファイナルスクエ
ア。あ、ロック。やっと会えた。Final Fantasy.
Bring it back. Bring back.
That's right. We'll bring her back. Oh, there we are. Okay, so it is Omega level nerd news time. So, Jelly, your show, WandaVision, it has Emmy Awards buzz. Actually, they're saying up to four categories right now. They're looking at. So this is from comicbook.com. In a matter of days, nominations voting for the 73rd Emmy Awards will close ahead of the official nominee reveals on July 13th. As it turns out, WandaVision is a favorite to get nominated in a handful of sizable categories. THR released their latest Emmy nominations watch list, and on it, the Disney Plus series is listed as a frontrunner for a nomination in 4 different races. According to Scott Feinberg, the Trade Awards columnist, WandaVision is increasingly likely to get nominations for Best Limited Series or Anthology, Best Actor in a Limited Series or TV Movie, Paul Bettany. Best Actress in a Limited TV Series or TV Movie, Elizabeth Olsen. And Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series or TV Movie, Kathryn Hahn, who of course played Agatha Harkness. So there we go.
Didn't they just like clean up at another award show like a couple months ago?
Wasn't it MTV or Nickelodeon or some shit? Like,
I think maybe it was that. Like they snagged like a whole bunch of stuff from that.
They
I was not aware.
They want to stiff Marvel and comic book movies, say they can't win these awards or anything. Well, fuck, they'll bring some hardcore TV series and sweep away with them. Fuck it. Don't challenge Marvel. Fuck Disney. They run everything.
I had seen this tweet about social media, saying something along the lines of like social media is just like someone can try to or can I don't know talk down to Martin Scorsese's whole career because he said Marvel movies are whatever they are, blah 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 blah, and like I understand where Martin Scorsese is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, overall, at the end of the day, what all of these mediums are just like, it's just conduits to fiction. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, sure, the Marvel has a corporate kind of feel to it, and a that kind of like rote, like what am I trying to say, like cookie cutter aspect to it.
Yeah,
but overall,
like
at the end of the day,
formula.
Yeah, there's still cinematography, there's still character development, there's still drama, there's still all the other elements to movies that you need in order for them to be successful or to tell a in-depth story. So at this point, since we know that these movies aren't a fluke and are able to establish huge, diverse, comprehensive, complex universes that span multiple movies, and as a franchise, we got to give it the respect that it deserves. So I respect Martin Scorsese, but that whole take, it just sounds a little bitter at this point.
I agree.
I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more awards, a lot more critical acclaim, all that other stuff. So,
yeah, because Endgame got robbed.
There's been a lot of things that have gotten awards that just suck. They're like,
that too.
Like this is an amazing cinematic feature, and it's so artistic, and it's like, this is boring ass shit. How'd this even win anything? Who like this?
It's a bunch of old people.
Who kind of
exactly, especially for a very well-read, historically, literate black person. You just give these black master saviors slave movies. It's sick to me. You know what I mean? Like, cool, great. You did a slave movie and you showed a white guy being kind of nice. It's still those are trash movies to me. But I'm saying trash as far as them getting the critical acclaim because it just feels gross to me. But as them being movies, no, I'm not gonna sit here and dog them for being movies. Be the movies you want to be. I don't care.
Yeah.
Pick whatever you want.
I mean, like you mentioned something, like even for the cinematography standpoint, it's over 10 years old now, but don't tell me you guys still don't get fucking chills when it goes a shot of Avengers and it's just fucking spinning around them and for that.
Exactly, with the music going. What you talking about?
Or what they took with that battle in Endgame. You've never seen something like that. Like that many people, it was top-notch special effects, like legit everybody seemed like they were there. Like, there's that argument is outdated unless it's DC. It just needs to get the fuck out of here. Because DC can't make anything.
Well, DC would just be hating at that point.
Well, I think they're trash movies.
tell me every time you make trash.
Unfortunately, although WandaVision seems to be getting the acclaim here, of course, the Falcon Winter Soldier doesn't seem to be in any sort of rumor mill on any sort of enemy category. So we did learn something I'm really surprised about, but really excited, is that we got a Shang-Chi, a new Shang-Chi trailer. And so far, the most talked about thing in that trailer is that we get Abomination again, but more comic accurate looking, which is,
Just basically
I love
just
it.
add the ears.
Got some finnage, got gruesome finnage. Yep, matured a little bit.
Was this still what's his face playing him?
That I don't
English
know.
actor?
I don't know. I don't think it matters anymore, to be honest with you. So I guess
Yeah,
I don't know. If he came on the cheap, I'm sure. But, he's not going to hustle Marvel when they can just CGI your ass out of there. Hell, we replace War Machine, and that ain't CGI. So
Right. Oh, you want to play with my money?
Right.
Terrence Howard? Now I recently saw Terrence Howard on The Breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And and made, because people were, Charlemagne and DJ Envy on it, they gonna give you some heat. And considering how big, the Marvel movies have become, they were trying to ask him if that was like a big, huge mistake.
Yeah.
And so based off, and again, this is just from Terrence Howard's point. But overall, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, there were War Machine movie talks, because it wasn't gonna be Iron Man 2, I heard, during this time period, that it was that came next. It was gonna be War Machine and Iron Man.
Oh boy.
I remember there was supposed to be a War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine.
He straight fucked himself.
Considered. Well, but see, the thing about it is, I don't know if you. I don't think that he fucked himself.
He got Empire.
Gotta look at it like this. My baseball fandom so reinvigorated as of late, mainly because of my beautiful, gorgeous, sexy, lovely girlfriend.
That'll do it.
Likes baseball, and our compromise was, if I made her watch basketball, I would have to watch baseball. We get into baseball, right? And the storylines and the things that get you amped up in a baseball season. Damn, I completely lost my thought. But it doesn't matter. The point that I'm trying to make here is that I lost.
How did Terrence Howard not get screwed?
That's right. So, if your favorite player, for instance, Manny Ramirez, right? A favorite player on the Indians, and he went to Boston, that hurt, right? But the Indians weren't trying to pay that man. So what are you gonna do? And if Marvel wasn't gonna pay Terrence Howard to do a War Machine movie, then, as a person who is a great actor and deserves, if he would have played that role, deserved the money just like everybody else got their money, I would love to.
And if that's the case, if it went that way, I can see. But a lot of and even his interviews, he
ended up
wanted
getting
more
Empire.
money than Robert Downey Jr. You don't get more money than your star employee.
But that's the thing. I don't think that's what it was. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you, as the secondary role, get more money than the main role? I don't think
he was a bigger actor at that time.
I think, but that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why it doesn't make sense to me. I think that Terrence Howard adding the context of, they said they were going to do a War Machine movie, but then, and not only were they not going to pay him what they wanted, do a solo War Machine movie, have him be an integral part, just like Ant-Man, right? The fuck is Ant-Man? For real. For these mainstream groups. I mean, what the fuck Ant-Man is? That motherfucker got 2 movies? Come on, man. You tell me they can't have like 5 War Machine
The
movies?
third
at
one's
this
gonna
point?
be out
With
like
the
in a year.
third, yeah, with the third one that's gonna have Kang the Conqueror.
Exactly. So the city say that like, oh, you know, Terrence Howard just wanted. No, you were trying to lowball this dude from the get go, and then not really even take his movie seriously because it didn't seem like they were taking the movie serious, which is the reason why they didn't want to pay him. You know, it's a choice that you make. You're not going to pay me what I feel that I'm worth as a award-winning actor. I'm out. And if the Cleveland Indians ain't gonna pay me to stay here and keep losing World Series, I'm gonna have to go to a contender. And y'all ain't contending right now. So I mean, I get it when you look at it in hindsight, you know. I mean, Manny Ramirez made a great move, but there's some people that don't. Bryce Harper is a great example. I'm sorry, I've really been getting into this baseball shit. And he left the Nationals, and then the Nationals won a World Series a couple years ago. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. So it happens. But overall, at the end of the day, Bryce Harper is still one of the best baseball players in the league. Terrence Howard's one of the best actors in Hollywood, black actors in Hollywood. Let's put it that way. And if they weren't going to pay him what he deserved, then I would have left.
I'll be honest though, if he was still in here, I think the dynamic would have been so much better. I can deal with Don Cheadle, but Howard was such a better
what does Don
roadie.
Cheadle really even do? Iron Man 3 was embarrassing. I would have had an attitude doing the press for Iron Man was Don. Granted, he had the funniest lines and
I love Don Cheadle. I love.
But I would have been upset if I looked at the script and as Don Cheadle be like, "That's all I'm saying." Making jokes, and I'm getting beat up by,
in
Norman
Norman Osborn's armor.
Right. Come on, man! Like the disrespect.
That whole movie is a disrespect.
Exactly. So imagine Terrence Howard being War Machine and that shit. Oh, hell no, man! We ain't doing this, man.
Yeah.
I had to get my hustle and flow on.
Oh my god.
It worked out. He starred in the TV show called Empire, and that blew up, like crazy. So it worked out for him.
Want to throw something out here? So here's some interesting tidbits. So Tim Roth is listed as Abomination in She-Hulk.
Okay, right.
But he is not credited in Shang-Chi.
Okay.
So he probably doesn't turn into Ross.
Yeah, we probably don't see
he doesn't, not Ross, but whatever his name.
Yeah.
Now, does Abomination you guys may know this, or does Abomination eventually have the ability to transform back?
I've never seen. I mean, but again, I'm not a tried and true Hulk fan, but I've never ever seen a human form.
I thought that was part of the mutation, is it was permanent versus
banners. All right, here, Volsker. Very, very big news from you coming out of the Transformers verified Twitter. The battle on Earth is no longer just between Autobots and Decepticons. Maximals, Predacons, and Terracons join Transformers Rise of the Beast in theaters June 24th, 2022.
That is fucking awesome. And just the fact that it's only a year away means it's been like a kept secret for years now. I am super excited. Growing up, me, Chris, Danny, the cousins, like that's what we were introduced to. We love Generation 1, the recut Generation 2 when, America wants to get their hands on and mutilate shit. But that was our morning Transformers, was Beast Wars, and that is fucking awesome. And this is not going to have anything to do with Michael Bay. This is a complete restart. This is going to be fucking glorious. I can't stress that enough. Do not fuck this up, Hasbro. Is it Paramount or Universal again? Does it say?
I'm just looking at the tweet, which doesn't say nothing, but
Let me see here. So it's going to star Anthony Ramos, Luna Velez, Dominique Flashback. It's directed by Stephen Capel Jr. Doesn't say.
I don't know any of it. That's good. That's a good sign.
Peter Cullen is back as Optimus Prime. They're listed, which we all know is not Prime. Optimus Primal.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
fucking
not
excited.
seeing here. I'm not seeing that here. But
Let's see.
no, hosted by Paramount Studios. Virtual production kickoff hosted by Paramount Studios.
They own the rights to it, I thought. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it might actually end up being on Paramount Plus. So the director, Stephen Capel, is the director of Creed 2. And The Land.
Oh, the Cleveland movie. It's Machine Gun Bitch Boy. Hope you hear that one.
Not a fan of Machine Gun Kelly there.
Oh yeah, he also did the Dope Man short with Machine Gun Kelly. So I'm excited. I just hope this gets some some good TLC. Get away from the Michael Bay. Give us real Transformers. Bumblebee gave us, an easy start to re-scratch everything, but you don't even want to, come close to no, get the fuck over here. We're going to start completely fresh. Next to the War for Cybertron, I think this would be my go-to. So I'm excited. I cannot wait.
I mean, I really like Beast Wars. I mean, it was the only Transformers on at the time. I do prefer the vehicle stuff. But I can say, for me, that is exciting is, so in the era of Earth that Beast Wars supposedly happens in, there's no humans. So that's cool. We can just concentrate on the big fucking robots kicking each other's ass.
Because if you remember, it was near the end, before Beast Machines and all that happened, you find out that these are actually the successors to Gen 1 that get warped in time and crash land in ancient history, because eventually they do find the scraps and the bodies of Megatron and Optimus and caskets and stuff. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do.
And one Daniel's brother Nerdgasm deserves another. And what I'm talking about is something I never asked for, but boy, do I want it. IGN.com tells us that Square Enix reportedly co-developing a Final Fantasy IX animated series. I love Final Fantasy IX, so I am super duper excited. Love it, love it, love it. And one of the reasons, other than it being a really awesome fucking game, is, with the Final Fantasies, the way they progressed, you started going to Final Fantasy VI, started melding magic and machine, and then we go to Final Fantasy VII, and we get some more futuristic stuff there. And then Final Fantasy VIII, that's totally like sci-fi. So Final Fantasy IX goes back to the fantasy roots, and so that was an exciting prospect and a great game overall. So I love this.
Final Fantasy IX, for those that don't know, is my least favorite because I tried to get into that one as a youngin, and I beat it, and I didn't even know I beat it. So that one has been kind of like a one on my list, but I've always wanted to give it its fair shake. I do have it on PlayStation. I bought it recently. There was a Square Enix sale not too long ago. I bought everything. Got World of Final Fantasy Type 0, 9. Already had 12. Yeah, I think I got everything. Whatever you can buy on PlayStation, that's Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy. I mean, I do have 14, but I just don't really play it. But I've always wanted to give it its fair shake, and I've always wanted to do right by that game. When I was young, though, the thing that I felt that you had to do at least your first playthrough was not play with a guide. and my logic around that changed a little later life, maybe as I became a streamer and wanted to get platinum trophies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is you're the one that's got to beat it. Who cares if you looked it up in the guide? You got to beat it. So beat it.
I think RPGs and guides were like a staple back in the 90s
Yeah.
and 2000s.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what happened around this time with Final Fantasy IX. I can remember it. I actually think I have it somewhere. But this is where actually strategy guides started to suck. And what I mean by that is alls it would do, it would tell you some baseline information, and then it would say, now go to this site, go to this Square Enix site, and get your strategy guide information.
Prima guides.
Right, Prima guides and shit. So, but yeah,
but
no,
that's
you're
why,
right.
That's why when I found out about game FAQs, oh man.
Oh, yeah, it was over.
Like, shout out to all the people. I don't even know how people do this too, because
you and your ASCII characters.
One of the first things I ever wanted to do content-wise was to do like playthrough, and I almost was even gonna do it for Final Fantasy VIII. Like as I was going through trying to platinum it, what I was gonna do was I was gonna go through the game, do all the stuff as you go along, get all the cards, get all the Guardian forces, like do all that, beat all the extra bosses, all the extra little things that you're supposed to do, like that. The robot that you fight in the beginning of the game that like chases you.
Mm-hmm.
You can beat him at something. Didn't get till later in the game or whatever.
Wow.
So like, I was gonna make a guide how to do that, you know what I mean? But like, bro, respect to the people who do that shit. I'm not doing that shit on a stream. Talk some shit for a second.
Man. And they make the cool little pictures and maps and ASCII characters and shit. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna go through 9 again, and I hope that whatever they do, it seems like it's gonna be an anime. I hope it's animated like that. I hope it's on instead of digitally, whatever. But yeah, I'm excited, and I really need to go back and that game.
Yeah, Square Enix, co-developed by Square Enix, with Square Enix and then French studio Cyber Group Studios. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them before, if you can attest to their quality, but nonetheless, yeah, awesome.
I just like how opposite you guys are sometimes, because D, you love 9, hate 8, and then J,
I love 8. 8 is dope. 8 is dope. And maybe it was just like, I don't know. So I got into Final Fantasy for real in 95, 96. I want to say like 96. And no. When did 7 come out? 96?
Yeah.
97, I thought.
Whenever Final Fantasy 7,
right.
I'm pretty sure
it was a launch title, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't a launch title.
Or shortly after.
No,
but
it was
whenever Final Fantasy 7 came out, I got into Final Fantasy a little over or a little under a year before then. So I got to watch as a kid.
January
97. I got to watch the development of 8.
Yeah.
And when the demo came out in what was that? Xenogears. And I played that, that beach scene, like that shit was dope. I was ready. And so I did the same thing for 9, and I played it, and I'm sitting here thinking I'm, doing the side missions the way you're supposed to, and blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden it's like credits, and I'm like, what? How?
Was it did it have this typical length, like 45, 50 hours, or was it short?
Oh yeah. Oh, believe me.
Well, the way I play really slow anyway. I think it. I don't think a lot of it's not very entertaining though. But even with that, I think I beat it in like 56, less than 60, so like 55, 56.
I'm gonna make that my goal this year. For those that are listening, we've talked about this before. The remake Final Fantasy VII and original are the only two Final Fantasies I have ever beat.
I mean, to be honest with you, bro, if you're gonna go down the road and join the club and the fellowship of Final Fantasy, I really think you should go in order.
I thought about that actually. If you look at my Steam wish list, it's like every single.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but remember,
go in order, man. Because to be honest with you, the tropes aren't gonna make sense if you play just for popularity.
I mean, you got a point there. I guess the good thing is I do recognize a lot because with D, my cousins, my uncle, it was always on at some point. I just really didn't sit down and play it until when we talked about it right before the remake when I, went through and beat 7 for the first time.
All right.
You'll get it, man. Yeah. It makes me want to go back and do it too. But
remember, they got those remasters coming out.
Yeah.
That's fair point.
I'm planning on burning through those.
Listen, I've been lying to everybody about this content I'm trying to make or whatever. Yo, I'm gonna have to take a vacation,
yeah,
fucking 1 through 6 play through with me, have little videos, me doing some.
Yeah. For sure. And then okay, so other than that, another kind of comic book controversy that has arisen is this Warren Ellis guy. Basically seems to be the Harvey Weinstein of comics. He is an English comic book person there who basically used his power to do all that stuff that Harvey Weinstein used to do. And so there's so many of us .com where these people kind of collaborated to tell their story. So, but what the controversy here is he, since these accusations have come out, he kind of went away, but now looks like he's trying to come back. And there's a little bit of a controversy because this series Fell that he worked on, it never finished, and it was back in the mid 2000s with artist Ben Templesmith, and Templesmith made the announcement on his Patreon account where he wrote of Ellis, "I'm glad he's going to be doing some comics again. I don't think anyone thought he'd bugger off and work in a shoe factory or anything. He is, after all, one of the most important comic writers of the past few decades. It means a lot to me to finish this thing finally, so I wouldn't say no. I guess we'll let the market speak on how things go." So now this is under Image, and Image has been like, no. This isn't happening until he makes amends, with all these women. And Rich Dueck, who was, of course, on the show, he had a recent tweet about this and spoke of his fandom, and how important that this guy is to comics. But again, echoing those statements of, but hey, until he makes things right, he fuck him. Yeah, basically paraphrasing, obviously. So yeah, that was I didn't. That's just really sad to think of, comics, and you just wouldn't hope that we'd have our own comic book Harvey Weinstein, but
yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, dude, these sex pests out here, man. Jack off, okay?
Yeah.
Go beat your dick. We'll go watch some porn. We'll find you a girlfriend.
Because otherwise, you're going to get called on it. It's fucking 2021.
I say that, and I completely forget the whole dynamics of it. Okay, so what it really is a power play, and these, and when I used to stream in these topics, I'd always talk about how the sex is an important thing about it because that's the way that the power is being abused, but it's really not even about sex most of the it is, but it's not. It's a power play. These men feel powerful. They feel like there's not going to be any repercussions for their actions. And that really is what the problem is that we have a a society that doesn't really punish you for abusing your power. That's the reason why you have power. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not of the. I mean, especially considering that, like, you know, I would definitely. I don't want to come back to Twitch, but like using that as a conduit to do the things I need to do the things that I'm trying to do. Sure, I would like to come back to Twitch. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that this person can't ever, you know, create again. I just think that, like, if he's that great, then use a proxy. Like, use someone else. Use your, like, best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, just
use
understand,
his name, give him the script.
He's taken no responsibility, and that's part of the problem. He's made no, like, just no way, no amends whatsoever.
Because it's comics. Comics is a male-driven game. Who really gives a fuck? You want me to make the great comics, don't you? You know what I mean? Like, all right, yeah, we got some women in here and some men in here that are gonna feel a way about it. But, like, come on, guys, we're the guys, right? Like, that's what it kind of seems like.
Yeah.
And as far as, like, you know, the brand, the IP saying that, like, you know, we're not gonna do anything until there's amends. That's why at the end of the day, if you really feel like that shit of a person and you want to get your little comic book out or your story out, then do it through a proxy. You know, yes, reap the benefits vicariously. But yeah, these dudes out here abusing their power, dude. It's so much more fun. It's so much better to do it the right way. And that's one of the main reasons why I want to be. I was trying to be a public online figure to be an example. You can get it the right way. You can get it the right way. You can get it your own way. You don't have to copy or steal or abuse your power. Just be a decent human being, and it should come to you, because this world is set up where if you're not a decent, you get everything.
Yeah, yeah, that's weird. You know, the thirsty dudes. Like, I never quite, like, if the other person doesn't want to reciprocate, like, it's just not a good experience. So yeah, I really don't get these dudes that just put them in compromising positions, knowing that they're not wanting to do this, and they're just.
That's why it's a power play. That's why it has nothing to do with, you know, the horizontal polka. It's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
got everything to do
lording
with
over their power.
You know, imposter syndrome or Napoleon syndrome or just, I don't know, just shitty abusive people that don't deserve that's the part that's tough. Like,
yeah,
they deserve to make a living, right? And I don't know. That's the part that's really tough, because we idolize and we worship and we put such a big thing on people who entertain us that
You're right.
You know, this person deserves to never work again. Like, that's not. I don't think it's like that. But, like,
right.
I don't know. It's a really gray area that overall, at the end of the day, if dude would make his amends and we had a way of allowing people to rehabilitate, I don't think it'd be such a big issue. But, you know, I don't know. That's me having this conversation and people being sensitive and
right.
Yeah, it's a
like, let's be honest too. He could come out and say he came absolutely clean. He told everything, came forward. Oh, by the way, I'm relaunching or completing my comic. What are people going to automatically think? He's doing this just to go ahead and get his shit back out there. And it's going to be a struggle no matter way you're looking at it.
So the thing I always think about when that kind of stuff happens, right, is think about it like this. If a garbage truck, if a garbage man were to treat him in this way, well, he's not allowed to be a garbage man no more?
Right.
We just want to punish this person for the elevated status that we give him, because we give comics, or we give movies, or we give athletes, or we give whatever this huge status. And to me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just really tough because people don't necessarily understand that. Like, if my job is to write a story, and that story gets 10 million people to spend $20 a year, how much am I getting back? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how that works. Just because I have currency, that means I'm not able to do the thing I want to do anymore because I did some fucked up shit. Now, if you don't want to, I guess, frequent the thing that I do, fine, that's your choice, and that's everybody's choice from the beginning. But it just feels weird to me that we don't allow people to do the thing that they do because they did terrible things. Like, that's just what they do. We wouldn't say that to a garbage man. We wouldn't say that to somebody working at McDonald's.
I'm glad you say that, and this is going to probably be a very unpopular opinion, but a lot of people have issues separating actions from other shit. Let's talk Kevin Spacey. Awesome fucking actor. He did some shit. With, what was it, the little boys and stuff like that, which he got fired off a House of Cards. People, ruining. He came out, he admitted it, like, he apologized, and now he's in his first movie in 5 or 6 years since all this shit went down. You know what? You don't have to like the man, but you could still like what comes, like, his product or what he's involved in. People don't see that. What's another one? Chick-fil-A. We all know the issues with
I was gonna say, so funny story. This weekend, sorry to interrupt you, but my brother's girlfriend, she's allergic to gluten. She can't have gluten, otherwise she bloats, she throws up, she gets acne like super, super bad. Like, she can't eat gluten because she's allergic to it. And she's like, what can we get to eat here in town? And we're like looking up stuff. She's like, I can eat Chick-fil-A because they have gluten-free buns that come in like packages. And Sandusky, you figure tourist town, there's a bunch of shit here. That's literally, besides pizza, the only place in town that has actual gluten-free stuff that isn't just a salad with some meat in it. Because all these places have, like salad with meat in it. And my brother's like, I don't support them. I don't like their views. And his girlfriend was like, man, Randy is gay as fuck, and he goes and eats that chicken all the damn time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's my thing with Chick-fil-A is I get what you're saying, like, on the surface. The only issue that I have with Chick-fil-A is that, like, the profits go to funding things that, like, literally hurt whole swaths of people. That's the part that's tough when it comes to Chick-fil-A. Is that, like, damn, like, that should be hitting the spot. Some should be striking. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't want the funding, which is a very important thing in, like, I don't know, terrible things happening, being funded, go to something that hurts so many of the people that I love and other people that don't deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that one is a little tough. And the issue with that one is, overall, at the end of the day, and again, I guess with Kevin Spacey and like everybody else, is like, so much money goes into this for them to have lifestyles that overall, at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to make works best in a society, in a world where everybody has access. Because if everybody has access to things that Kevin Spacey has, Kevin Spacey being in a movie, even though he's a piece of shit, but he's the best actor for the movie that I'm trying to do. Like, yeah, this person is a terrible person, blah, 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 blah. But in order for the story to hit the points that you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a conundrum.
Rather not associate with people that are shitty despite them being good at their job.
Yeah, it's tough. But people need to make a living, since we have the world situated. Like, you want to cancel people from them doing the thing that they love or whatever, and maybe have a society where, like, that's not going to kill them afterwards. I'm not trying to kill Kevin Spacey. I want Kevin Spacey to be held accountable. I want Kevin Spacey to know the wrong that he's done. I want Kevin Spacey to not be able to use status as a way to abuse. But they're able to do these things because we give it status. So it's a really deep, tough conversation that, I guess the way that the world is situated now, punishing him this way is the only way that makes.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned punishment. You motherfuckers. You took Driss Duerden, Brunner, Battlehammer, Wolfgar, Caddy Bree. What, 2K games? More like Duke, you motherfuckers. You took my beloved Forgotten Realms, heroes there, and you fucked it up. Like, I want to play this fucking game, this Dark Alliance game, but it's a fucking mess.
Sorry, it was so funny. It was the funniest ass shit that I played this game. What was it, Wednesday? Because I'm like, yes, I'm gonna play this. Let's go. I'm like, memories, because I played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. I'm like, is it gonna have a similar storyline? Is it gonna continue? Is it just gonna use the characters? Like, what is it doing? So you go in, and the story goes is there is a crystal, and they all fight for a crystal, and this mage gets the crystal, and then he raises dark armies, and he's attacking all the realms and shit. So the companions go to save it. Well, the crystal's like, fuck you, mage. They're beating you, so I'm noping out. And dude's like, oh shit, the crystal just noped out on me. So then the crystal disappears, and he blends into the ice, and here you are. And you start doing shit. So then, you go in, and the goblins are taking over. The dragon's mate comes back and is like, you fucked up my area. What is you vermin in here doing? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm getting excited. I'm getting inside. And then you go and you start going. And you're like, I picked a ranger because I'm like, this is the only range character that there is. So I'm Caddy Bree, and I'm like, there's no mage, I'm a ranged player. So I'm like, okay, I got my little archer chick going, and I'm going, and I go up there. I'm like, okay, there's this guy over here. I'm gonna shoot, and it doesn't do anything. So say this bunny is like a spear coming out of the ground, and I'm trying to shoot in between its ears or next beside of it. Now imagine an invisible block around the whole fucking bunny. You can't shoot in between the ears. You can't even shoot over it. You have to shoot like this taller or this wider, because this spear has a huge fucking hit area, even though it's see-through. So then you move, and you're like, okay, now I'm not within the distance. And you ping this guy, and you're like, yeah, I did 6 damage. I'm gonna, aggro everyone. They don't fucking move. So then you're like, ping, 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 ping. And he dies. And then he yeets up in the air, and you're like, where the fuck did he go? So then you're like, okay, let's move a little bit. Maybe we'll aggro this guy. Ping, ping, ping. And it's like, okay. So I go up, and as you get closer, you do more damage, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm closer. Maybe I'm gonna aggro him now, because I'm doing like 20 damage instead of 6. Ping, ping, no. So then you get like right up on him, and he sees you, and he walks towards you, but you back up a little bit because you're an archer, so you're backing up so he's not hitting you, and he runs back to his own place. And it's like, didn't I just aggro you? Aren't you supposed to keep following me?
It's like,
why are you running back?
You're too far. Forget it. No, I know I'm bleeding out and gonna die, but you're too far.
And that's how the whole 2. I only played 2 levels because half the time I had to stop to die. Laugh. What the fuck is shit. I'm like dying fucking laughing. Tears are coming out of my eyes, and I'm like, I really want to like this game because like the mechanics seem cool. Besides that, it's like
That
a radius,
fucking-
and it
yeah.
if you're
Wasn't that
inside
just
the
like a
radius,
beta?
no, it's a
the
full
game
game.
released last week.
So
Yeah.
full game, not beta, not alpha, not testing, full release game.
Even with all the shitty ass glitches and problems, Cyberpunk got a better review than that game.
And Cyberpunk's not bad. Well, I don't even know.
I hope they fucking fix it. I love these fucking characters. I'm not even going to complain that Driss doesn't have his magical cat, Gwen Wyvern. I won't even complain about that.
So what I'm wondering if it's better if you're playing with somebody with melee, because you got to figure if you're a melee character, you have to get up there
Why?
and hit
So
them,
it can't
right?
go through your partner either.
But
So it's
if someone shoots you with a fucking arrow and they go 7 feet away from you, you're not going to be like, ah, fuck it. Like, so it's obviously got horrible AI for
horrible AI.
I mean, you could at least program it to that fucking object did damage to me, therefore I need to chase it.
I was this close to this floating, like, wrath wizard guy, and he still wasn't fucking hitting me.
Oh my god.
What's with this guy? I'm within his area.
This
And
is
he's
so
just like,
fucking
"Come on."
blasphemous.
Is it an MMO or like I don't know anything about this?
It's just an action RPG.
Like an RPG. Yeah.
Hack and slash, you know.
Remember the old Dark Alliance games for PS2?
I mean, I know what they are. I just
like the overtop. So what was it, D? What would you say? Like almost like a ground level Diablo instead of over the top.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of Champions of Norath. Shit like that. Yeah.
They'll
And
taunt
again,
you too, and they'll start saying shit, and it's like,
yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that you start at this hub town or whatever, probably 10 towns, and like no matter where you are, you can hear like there's just a guy that keeps quipping the whole time, just doesn't shut the fuck up. I think he's an innkeeper or something.
oh yeah, that guy. He hits on you too, like because I was a chick. He's like, so
Yeah,
what are you doing later? Because like I'm gonna be here.
My God.
It's like, dude, you're half my size.
I was playing Destiny till 3:00 in the morning one day, and watching Overlord, my phone, like background noise or whatever. It's like, what was he thinking that like, you know what I mean? It seems like they spent more time on the NPC dialogue.
Yeah.
Or where if you get stuck in
Everything
the,
had so much
if Jelly
dialogue.
gets stuck in this game, oh Lord, I feel sorry for you, girl.
Yeah, they must have spent their
Thanks about them
budget.
thanks.
Yeah, they must have spent their budget
playing
on
it.
like the licensing or something. I mean, the story sounds cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I already know the story. You're describing the Icewind Dale trilogy. But nonetheless, I'd like to play through that. That sounds fun. So, okay.
The levels are a big loop too. There's multiple ways you can go, but to get like all the quest items, you have to loop around and then go.
And then go through.
I mean,
'Cause
that
there's,
makes
like,
kind of sense.
You go
with
to
those
a
kind of
point to
games.
where, but it like all connects, and it's like, oh, I go this way now, and I go that way because
Sounds
yeah,
like
I
they're
was
trying.
exploring everywhere.
Sounds like they were trying to do a halfway decent dungeon crawler, but that enemy
But I already had
AI.
like purple shit because there was like these little campfires, and you can either pick to make it a checkpoint and recover your health, or to boost your loot rarity. Well, nothing was touching me, so of course
Yeah.
I was boosting loot rarity.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so bad. Sweet Jesus.
I mean, I would be interested to see what happens, like I said, if you had melee, because I only played the archer, which obviously nothing was touching me.
We need to all four just party up just to see how fucking
four
bad this
player.
game is.
Oh, and make a video of us owning and
Yeah.
fucking shit and
It's gonna be
clipping it.
me dying laughing.
Fucking like the AI not working, or people get whipped around. Like, what the fuck?
They just yeet up in the air, or like I had one yeet to the side, and I'm like, where is he going?
You shall not exist in this game anymore.
I tried to get one into like this giant bull statue. It was so close. It was like that far away.
So like the Assassin's Creed game, that famous like screenshot of the guy that's just the eyeballs and shit.
Oh,
you can't jump up on anything either now that I think of it. So I'm jumping. I'm trying to stand on this fucking catapult so that I could shoot this big giant troll thing that took me forever to kill because I don't even fucking know why. So I'm running around like...
Trolls are notoriously hard to kill. Got to use fire or acid.
It was like an end boss guy, and like it took so long. He had lightning as a thing, and he kept trying to lightning me, and it was ridiculous.
It's not your standard troll.
It was ridiculous.
It's a super troll.
It was some sort of weird troll, and he was beating my ass, and I died a bunch of times until I finally beat it, and then I'm like, woo, I think I'm done with this game today.
That's how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes. All right, well, we're about done here tonight. So before we go, let's just make sure that you know where to find and all the Omega level nerds. So let's start with you, Jelly. Where can we find you at?
You can find me here on YouTube at Jelly Rose. I've been slowly making YouTube videos, guys. I'm actually doing it. You know how I said I was gonna use Tuesday to like make videos? Well, I sit down Tuesday and make videos, and then I spend like all day making a video, and halfway through I get pissed off because I'm tired of looking at like footage. Well, I discovered that if I take like an hour every day and do like one part of the process, I actually do it.
All right.
So I took one day to look through the footage, and then I took one day to like commentary over the footage, and then I took one day to add like beginning and endings, and I'm going to take one day to add like little tidbits in the middle. But so I'm actually going to do YouTube stuff now.
All right. Yay.
So find me there, and then I'm normally Twitch Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 1:30. I do take 10 to 20 minutes at noon for a lunch break. Socials are J3LLI3 ROS3 on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And then you can find me at jellyrose.blogspot.com, where I'm going to be doing a written version of my YouTube video there. So if you like reading more than you like watching shit, you can go for that. Awesome. And then you can find me old shit and merch on Patreon. So Patreon's just Jelly Rose as well. There's too many things I do now.
All the things.
Diversify. J100, got any socials for us you want to let us know about?
Man, I really wish I could be doing the stuff Jelly doing for real. Instead of slaving away at this car dealership. It takes all my time, and the little time I have left, I spend with negative love. But
it's a lady.
Right, it's a you can find me on Twitter talking, about the world and shit at J100. My YouTube channel is at J100 or youtube.com/J100TV. I really do want to make things. I had an idea for something, and I might just do some video game thing. 30 a while, at least on YouTube for the most. But outside of that, I'm here chilling with the Omega level nerds every Sunday at 9 Nerd 30. But yeah, for me, keep it nice and simple now.
Volsker, what about you? Throw your socials out there.
Yeah, so you guys can always check out prior videos up on the YouTube channel. Just pop in Volsker. You can check me on over at Twitter, where I usually just post and share random shit. That's at Volsker. Instagram at I am Volsker. And then outside of that, really just here getting hot and nerdy with you guys.
Awesome. All right. Well, yes. Well, I am on Twitter, as with everybody else, at DSquare72, if you want to go to my personal Twitter. But really, what's the most important, guys, is smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, really beat the fuck out. I mean, no, don't harm anything. But please, we had some great progress after our last show. So if you could please spread the word. And so we can get our super special URL, so we still need to get up to that 100 subscriber level. So please do that. At Omega Level Nerds on Twitter is where you can find the link, as well as see what news stories may be featured on the show. And we'd also like to hear any ideas or comments that you have either on Twitter or down there in the comment section. All right, guys, thank you so much. We will see you again very soon. Peace and love. Talk to you again soon.